So today begins another saga in the life of the 1993 Cabriolet. It's up on the project list next for the clutch being pretty much gone. It's all the way out at the end, so it's not very easy to start out in or smooth. And there's a noise in the transmission. I don't know if that noise is coming through. Of course, the door chime doesn't help, but as soon as I push the clutch in, noise goes away. So I'm going to make the assumption that's a bearing on the input shaft of the transmission. So while the trans is out, we'll investigate that and see if we can't fix that. So far, I've removed the air box, unhooked the shift linkage, got the speedometer cable out of there, I've taken the starter out, it's still hanging, reverse light switch. Now I'm going to go underneath the car. Need to unhook the clutch cable. I'm hoping I can put enough force on this lever, push it a little bit, and get this clip off of here. The clutch adjustment's loosened. Now I can just push that up, and then this little clip pulls off, and there's a metal piece and a little rubber sandwich that comes out of there. The clutch is disconnected. I need to pull this cover off the back of the clutch too. And these are 11mm heads for whatever reason. Might as well do these axle bolts next. These are a triple square. You can do them with a regular Allen, but you're going to screw them up. There's usually one spot where you can actually get them in, do it right. You don't want to round these things out either. Okay guys, so I have the engine hoist supporting the engine because I don't have anything else to do it with and have most of it disconnected. They wanted me to turn the engine over to top dead center according to the book. Not really sure why, but there it is. So I guess next, get in here and take this ground off, and then take these two bolts off, and then we'll go underneath and start pulling bolts off there. So I have this bolt out of the engine block, and there's one over here. That one's out, so the starter's out, so that it bolts through there. They call, at least the Bentley manual calls, to take out the transmission mount on the driver's side. This mount goes up to the front, and there's two bolts that go through it. So I got the nut off, but the bolt won't come out. So, not sure what their thoughts are on that. So I'm going to go down below and show you the front one and try to get that one out. This is the bottom side of that mount, and it has a bolt that goes through right up here, which is a 17mm, and I don't think they want you to get to it. And I wonder, with this space, if it's going to come out. So what might have to happen is we'll have to lower this down to get those side bolts out and get that whole bracket out of there, because I don't, it's gonna have to come down a bunch because we need to come down enough to clear that to pull the trans out. So next is this rear mount. It looks like you can even see it. A couple 19mm bolts. We'll try to get that mess out of the way and we should be close. All right, let's try this. The whole thing that attaches this mounts off. Let's see if it'll come off. That's out. All right, it's raining now. Last night I gave up on this. I'm starting to think maybe this hard coolant pipe right here is what's hanging me up. It's kind of in the way of a little bit of everything. So I'm going to try to, if you can see it, but it's bolted. And there's a nut right there holding all this to the head, so I'm going to try to get that off and see if that helps get this out of here. That coolant line up there helped, but I feel like this axle is going to be a problem no matter what. So I took the pinch bolt out of this ball joint. Let's see if I already pulled the nut off the outside. Let's see if we can get this thing separated. This is an original ball joint, so this has probably never been apart. Yeah, at least it's moving. Sometimes you have to work that accumulated rust out of there. So there's an axle out of our way. There can't be much left holding this thing in. All right, looks like we're banging into some brake lines right here. Those of you trying this at home, go ahead and take all this out. Now let's see. And there we go. spend a little time at Mr. Parts washing machine. Try to get 26 years worth of yuck off of it before we tear into it. I have this starter precariously perched over here so it's out of our way. This is actually the flywheel we're looking at on VW engines. The flywheel, at least on this style, the flywheel is backwards. This is the flywheel surface. The disc is in the same place. The pressure plate is in the middle. These are 9mm 12 points, so you have to have a 12-point socket to get them on. Let's get this thing off here. All right. And all kinds of junk. Flywheel. That's our pressure plate. And it's seen better days. So to get that off there, this clip has to pop off. Let me. And it's kind of irrelevant, but this is the end of the crankshaft. Let's look at the rest of it first, because we'll have to take this off, but I don't have a new one yet. So it's getting pretty close to those rivets, and there's some cracks in it. I noticed some look like cracks around the outside. Flywheel's not all grooved up, but there's a bunch of dust in there. So that thing's been in there 26 years. We'll go ahead and order up a new clutch kit for it, and I think we can just clean all this up.